Ladies and gentlemen, good day, and welcome to Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited Q2 FY22 post-results earnings conference call, hosted by Antique Stock Broking. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode. There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Amit Shah from Antique Stock Broking. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Malika. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Antique Stock Broking Limited, I welcome you all to 2Q FY22 post-result earnings con call of Kirloskar Oil Engines Limited. Today we have with us from the management Mr. Sanjeev Nimkar, MD, and Mr. Pawan Agrawal, CFO of the company. I'll now hand over the call to Mr. Nimkar, who will just address the session earlier, and then we can open the floor for the Q&A. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Amit. This is Pawan Agrawal. I will do the opening remarks, and then both Sanjeev and I can handle the question answers. So, thanks everybody for joining the call today. I'm Pawan Agrawal, the Chief Financial Officer of the company. Present with me on this call are our Managing Director, Mr. Sanjeev Nimkar, and our Company Secretary, Ms. Smita Raichurkar. Our two other colleagues have also joined this call, but from different locations. Mr. Rahul Prabhudesai, who heads the strategy and new businesses at KOEL, has joined this call from his residence in Pune, and Mr. Amit Gupta, who leads corporate finance function at our subsidiary Arka Fincap Limited, has joined this call from Bombay. At the outset, let me first wish you a belated Dussehra and early wishes for Deepavali. I hope you and your near dear ones are safe and keeping well. At KOEL, we have conducted COVID vaccination drive at all our locations, and a large portion of our workforce, almost 95 to 98%, has already been vaccinated. We continue to take precautions like wearing masks and regular sanitization while continuing with our day-to-day operations. Now I wish to start by qualifying that during the call we will make some forward-looking statements. These statements are considering the business environment we see as of today, and therefore there could be risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to vary materially from what we are discussing today on the call. And we would not always be able to update on these forward-looking statements. Let me now start with our sales highlights. Sales for the quarter grew by 25% year-on-year from 655 crore in quarter 2 of last year to 818 crore in this quarter. Further division-wise split and other details of the sales are captured in the presentation already uploaded on the website. Now I'll talk about the standalone performance of KOEL, followed by an update on major subsidiaries and summing it up with consolidated performance. On a half-yearly basis, the sales grew by 50% from 970 crore in H1 last financial year to rupees 1,457 crore in H1 this year. EBITDA at 115 crore against 72 crore for H1 in the last financial year registered a 60% growth year-on-year basis. This results into H1 FY22 EBITDA margin of 7.8% versus 7.4% for the same period in the last financial year. Steep increase in the prices of many inputs over the last few quarters continues to put pressure on the profitability of the company. Unfortunately, in our assessment, this commodity input cost pressure is unlikely to subside in the near term. Lastly, the net profit for H1 FY22 was at 63.2 crore, registering a 73% growth year-on-year basis. Though this performance is against the lower base of pandemic hit H1 last year, we believe our consistent efforts to grow the top line and prudent cost control measures have helped us deliver these numbers. We would continue with our efforts to protect the margins while growing the top line, despite the ongoing commodity price rise and other supply chain constraints. Now coming to the working capital updates, our inventory levels were at 46 days, receivables of 35 days and payables of 66 days. With this, we continue to maintain a healthy working capital cycle. Moving on to subsidiaries, following are some of the key highlights. Sales of rupees 270 crore in the first half of current financial year at Largajar Machineries Private Limited, in short LGM, registered nearly 18% growth compared to H1 of last financial year on a standalone basis. Other than government supplies, all other business segments such as retail, exports, OEM witnessed healthy sales growth during H1. The steep increase in commodity input cost impacted the margins at LGM also, as we could not pass on the entire input cost increase to the market. I'm happy to inform you that on the auspicious day of Dussehra, which is 15th October 2021, we have commenced our project of constructing a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility at the outskirts of Ahmedabad, Gujarat. This is a greenfield project which will consolidate the existing manufacturing units of LGM and will enhance its manufacturing capacity and capability. We expect the new factory to be operational in the next 12 to 15 months' time. Our recently formed step-down subsidiary, namely Optica Pipes and Electricals Private Limited, started commercial operations in May 2021, and a good response from the market was noticed in Q2 for its various products, such as wires, cables, column pipes, and pumps. We are expecting about 40 to 50 crore of turnover in Optica in the current financial year, and we believe that EBITDA margins at Optica will stabilize at around 4-5% as we go along in the next few quarters. Optica also entered into a joint venture with ISWA Pumps India Private Limited by making an equity investment of 4.41 crore, thereby obtaining 49% stake in the company on 4th October 2021. As you are aware, Optica was formed with a view to expanding our product offerings in allied category, and wire, cable, column pipes, electric motor driven pumps, etc. are some of the products which would nicely serve the above stated objective. We will further strengthen our product portfolio under the allied category in future. With the ISWA JV formation, we are not only securitizing the supplies of mini monoblock pumps, which is one of the growth engines for the water management solution division of KOEL, but also adding on the manufacturing capabilities in this domain. Kirloskar America Corporation, our US-based subsidiary, registered a sales growth of 57% year-on-year in H1. Sales at KAC grew from 10.7 crore in H1 last year to 16.8 crore in H1 of the current financial year. Another update is on financial services business. During second quarter, we have formed a wholly owned subsidiary, Arka Financial Holding Private Limited. The idea behind forming this subsidiary is to consolidate and bring the entire financial services business under one umbrella. This structure will help us sharpen our focus on building the financial services business. KOEL has infused 83.01 crore in Arka Financial Holding Private Limited, AFHPL, as share capital in Q2 of current financial year. AFHPL in turn has infused 80 crore of equity share capital in Arka FinCap Limited, AFL. With the above capital infusion, KOEL now holds 100% and 90.21% equity stake in AFHPL and AFL respectively. The remaining 9.79% equity stake of AFL is held by AFHPL. RBI on 14th October 2021 granted its approval to AFL for transfer of control in favor of AFHPL. In line with this approval, as a next step, there will be a shareholding realignment at AFL, whereby KOEL will cease to hold direct equity stake in AFL, but it will indirectly control AFL through its 100% subsidiary, AFHPL. The above mentioned realignment of structure of financial services business will open up many doors for future growth and expansion of this business segment at KOEL. As informed earlier, the total capital commitment of KOEL towards financial services business continues to be capped at 1,000 crore, out of which as on date approximately 701 crore is invested in AFL and 83 crore in AFHPL. The key highlights of the financial performance of Arka FinCap Limited can be seen in the Q2 earnings call presentation already uploaded on the website of the company. As far as consolidated performance is concerned, here are the key pointers. Sales grew at 46% year-on-year in H1 at 1,801 crore against approximately 1,233 crore during H1 of last year. EBITDA at 181 crore against 119 crore for the H1 of last year, registering a growth of 52% year-on-year. H1 FY22 margin stood at 9.9% versus 9.5% for the same period in the last financial year. And net profit for H1 FY22 was at 74 crore rupees, 40% growth year-on-year basis. Now a quick update on various businesses. On the power generation side, we have been gaining a good traction from healthcare and infra sector. This quarter, we have seen some good bulk order booking in this business. We continue to focus on these promising sectors for strengthening our portfolio further. Industrial business, however, witnessed some impact in the quarter due to shortages in supply of semiconductors, resulting into postponement of some of the sales. Despite that, we have delivered a 13% growth in second quarter year-on-year basis in this business division. The transition from BS3 to BS4 has been quite smooth as expected. We are receiving positive and encouraging feedback from our various OEMs on BS4 compliant engines supplied by us. On the farm mechanization side, our weeders are being well received in the market. We have strengthened our product portfolio in this business with the recent launch of petrol weeders. Weeders, unlike power tillers, are not sold to farmers against government subsidy. So in that sense, we expect a better margin profile in this product category going forward. With this addition, we now have a full range of product portfolio, both in terms of horsepower and fuel options. On the institutional and project business, what we call large engine business, we have a proven track record in defense and marine segments. We continue to strengthen our footprint in this domain. We have had a good breakthrough in some of the key projects for our esteemed clientele during this quarter, which fetched us new orders in excess of 50 crore in quarter 2. The project business by its nature is a long execution cycle business, and therefore our strong on-hand order board of approximately 150 crore will help us deliver good numbers in coming quarters in this business. Now on the new product development side, the following are some of the updates. As you know, we launched Kirloskar Island early September this year. This is an organic waste composter, OWC solution. It has attracted respectable number of inquiries from the market. We have started providing the OWC solution against these orders received from customers. The early signs are quite encouraging. We expect to see good traction in this segment in coming quarters. We have also launched induction motors under Varuna brand at AGM recently. We are in the process of launching similar motors under Kirloskar brand in KOEL over the next few months. Our R&D efforts are continuing on the higher kVA engines as mentioned in the earlier earning calls. Additionally, the development of gas-based gensets is also progressing satisfactorily, and we will soon announce its launch, hopefully in coming few quarters. With this, we come to an end of the updates. We may now commence the question answer session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who has a question at this time, please press star and 1. We have the first question from the line of Rohan, who is an investor. Please go ahead. Rohan sir, please go ahead with the question. Your line is unmuted.
हेलो.
Yes.
क्या मैं हिंदी में बात कर सकता हूँ, इफ यू डोंट माइंड?
Yes sir.
कोई इशू नहीं है. ये जो अपना एनबीएफसी का जो बिजनेस है, हेलो, आप सुन रहे हो? हाँ, ये जो एनबीएफसी का अपना जो बिजनेस है, ये इसमें जो अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट है जो 750 वो करोड़ के आसपास है, राइट? एंड इसका ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट आपने अप्रोक्सीमेट 100 करोड़ के आसपास दिखाया हुआ है. हेलो.
यस प्लीज गो अहेड.
हाँ, तो मुझे ये बोलना है कि अगर 27 करोड़ या 30 करोड़ के आसपास नेट प्रॉफिट आप दिखाते हो एंड एक्सपेंडिचर ऑन सैलरी जो है 60 to 70 करोड़ है, तो ये कितना वर्थ हो सकता है इन्वेस्टर्स के ये पैसों का, जो अपने कैश रिजर्व जो 1000 करोड़ के आसपास आपने जो किर्लोस्कर ऑयल का जो पैसा था जो एनबीएफसी में डाला है, ये कितना यूजफुल है? और दूसरा मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि इंडिया का जीडीपी जो है 1.3 ट्रिलियन से 3 ट्रिलियन तक ये 10 साल में आ चुका है, और किर्लोस्कर ऑयल का नेट प्रॉफिट जो है हर बार 160 करोड़ ही है. 10 साल पहले भी उतना ही था और अभी भी इतना ही है. तो हमारी कंपनी की ग्रोथ क्यों रुकी हुई है? फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन ये है. दूसरा क्वेश्चन जो है, ये एनबीएफसी का इतना अगर नेट प्रॉफिट कम आता है, इससे अच्छा तो गवर्नमेंट का बॉन्ड खरीद लेंगे तो उसमें ज्यादा आ जाएगा, या तो कोल इंडिया में इन्वेस्ट कर लेंगे तो उससे अच्छा उसमें डिविडेंड अपने को ज्यादा मिल जाएगा. तो अगर सैलरी पे इतना पैसा खर्चा करना है और उसके बावजूद अगर प्रॉफिट ऑफ इनकम अगर ठीक से नहीं आता है, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि इन्वेस्टर्स का पैसा ऐसे बिजनेस में लगाना चाहिए कि जिसमें एक्सपेरिमेंटल हो। एनबीएफसी में मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई ज्यादा एक्सपेरिमेंटल की जरूरत है। तो ये सवाल का मुझे जवाब चाहिए था आप लोगों के पास से।
ओके, थैंक्स रोहन जी।
और मुझे जवाब अगर हिंदी या मराठी में मिलेगा तो और ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, मैं उसमें ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल हूँ, क्योंकि मैं जहाँ रहता हूँ खड़गी बाजार में, उसके नियरेस्ट ही किर्लोस्कर कंपनी है 1942 से, हार्डली मेरे घर से 50 to 60 मीटर्स। तो ये कंपनी को मैं बहुत मतलब मेरे फादर, मेरे ग्रैंडफादर, हम लोग देखते आए हुए हैं ये कंपनी को, तो ये कंपनी को बहुत अच्छी तरह से जानता हूँ। तो ये शायद मे भी डिस्प्यूट की वजह से प्रॉफिट में फॉल्स आ रहा है, या रॉन्ग इन्वेस्टमेंट इन अदर बिजनेस उसके वजह से आ रहा है, ये किसके वजह से आ रहा है, ये मुझे और अदर इन्वेस्टर्स को भी जानना बहुत जरूरी है।
Okay. Amit, would you take up the NBFC question first and then we will respond on the second question?
श्योर पवन जी। रोहन जी, आपका जो क्वेश्चन था कि एनबीएफसी का प्रॉफिट हम इतना दिखा रहे हैं और उसकी सैलरी का खर्चा इतना आ रहा है, पहले मैं आपको ये बता दूं सर, इस बिजनेस की जो शुरुआत हुई है करीबन 2-2.5 साल पुरानी हुई है, और बिजनेस को ग्रो करने में थोड़ा सा टाइम लगता है। खासकर अगर आप फाइनेंशियल मार्केट की बात करें तो लास्ट 2-3 सालों में फाइनेंशियल मार्केट थोड़ा सा पैची रहा है। इवन आप देखेंगे कि उस मार्केट में भी जहां बाकी के एनबीएफसीज लॉस भी बुक कर रही होंगी, आई कांट नेम देम, आर्का फिनकैप लिमिटेड जो है, उस टफ मार्केट में भी उन्होंने अच्छी खासी बुक बनाई है अपनी, और मार्केट चैलेंजिंग होने के बावजूद ईयर ऑन ईयर प्रॉफिट डिलीवर कर रहे हैं। अगर हम 6 महीने की बात करें, 6 महीने में कंपनी ने 15.3 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट डिलीवर किया है, जो कि ऑलमोस्ट लास्ट ईयर के पूरे साल के प्रॉफिट से थोड़ा सा ही कम है। लास्ट पूरे साल में कंपनी ने 16.8 करोड़ का प्रॉफिट डिलीवर किया था, और अभी
सर कौन से अमाउंट में कितने अमाउंट इन्वेस्टेड किया और उसके अगेंस्ट से कितना अमाउंट है, आप मुझे वो कैलकुलेट।
सर मैं आपको वही मैं बता रहा हूँ।
हाँ।
लास्ट ईयर तक जो कैपिटल इन्फ्यूजन थी वो करीबन कुछ 600 करोड़ के करीब कैपिटल इन्फ्यूजन, 650 करोड़ थी। इस साल में 130 करोड़ का और इन्फ्यूजन हुआ। सर उसमें एक चीज मैं आपको बताऊं कि जब हम
ओनली 2% सर ग्रोथ।
सर मैं एक्सप्लेन कर रहा हूँ वही वाली पॉइंट।
हाँ
सर, एक चीज होती है इन्वेस्टमेंट के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, दूसरी चीज होती है लॉन्ग टर्म बिजनेस प्लानिंग के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से। इन्वेस्टमेंट आप जो बोल रहे हैं गवर्नमेंट के बॉन्ड में या कोल इंडिया में लगा ले, तो सर वहाँ लगा करके हम एक्सपेक्टेड हैं, जबकि
9% फिक्स इंटरेस्ट रेट है सर। मुझे ये इतना ये बोलना है, आई एम ऑल्सो इन्वेस्टर। मैं हमारा जो फैमिली है पिछले 140 साल से बिजनेस ही कर रहा है और इन्वेस्टमेंट करता है। जब एक नया बिजनेस चालू करता है तो एक पोर्शन ऑफ मार्जिन रहता है कि मुझे फिक्स इनकम कैसे मिले, इतना मिनिमम। मैक्सिमम द स्काई इज द लिमिट, बट मिनिमम मेरा क्राइटेरिया यही होना चाहिए। ये एक अपना बेसिक इन्फो होता है, बेसिक सोच होती है कि इसके नीचे मैं जाऊंगा नहीं, भले मुझे कितना भी लॉस हो जाए, ठीक है ना। तो ये जो बिजनेस एनबीएफसी का जो है ना सर, तो इसमें 2% सर एक्सेप्टेबल नहीं है, कितना भी खर्चा करे। अगर आप सैलरी के पार्ट पे इतना अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट कर रहे हो, खर्चा कर रहे हो, तो उसके हिसाब से वो ग्रोथ नहीं दिख रहा है। तो जिनको सैलरी पे हो रही है, आइदर वो काम नहीं कर रहे हैं ठीक से, या तो इन्वेस्टर का जो पैसा है वो गलत जगह इन्वेस्ट हो रहा है, तो आपको वो चेंज करना होना चाहिए। ये मेरा मोटो है, दूसरा कुछ भी नहीं है।
सर मैं वही वाली पॉइंट आपको एक्सप्लेन करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ। कंपनी जब नई बनती है, स्टार्टिंग में जब बंदे आते हैं, इमीडिएटली कंपनी प्रॉफिट मेकिंग नहीं होती है, उसको कुछ एक साल लगते हैं सर। बट फिर
सर ये कोई इंजीनियरिंग सेक्शन नहीं सर, ये एनबीएफसी बिजनेस है, इसके लिए मैंने इसके ऊपर सवाल किया।
एग्जैक्टली
इसमें आपको लेंड करना है स्ट्रक्चर, वो कैसे लेंड करना है, इसमें मार्जिन फिक्स रहता है, मिनिमम मार्जिन फिक्स रहता है, मैक्सिमम मार्जिन फिक्स रहता है। इसमें नया स्टैटिस्टिक्स क्या है, इसमें यही है कि तुम अच्छे ग्राहक ढूंढो जो कि लोन ना डुबाए और उनको फाइनेंस, यही होती है। अगर अच्छे ग्राहक नहीं मिल रहे हैं तो यू शुड इन्वेस्ट, जो कि आपको 9-10% ईयरली आपको देता है। नहीं मिल रहे तो, अगर मिल रहे हैं, आपका बेसिक क्राइटेरिया अगर ट्रायल एंड बेसिस पे है, तो नॉट आपको 100 रुपए का अगर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो नॉट आपको 100 रुपए इन्वेस्ट नहीं करना है, आपको फर्स्ट ट्रायल में 10 रुपीज ही इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए। मेरा ये बोलना है आपको। अदर जो है वो रिजर्व फंड में रखे, मैक्सिमम डिविडेंड जितना आ सके वैसे कंपनी में आपको वैसे बिजनेस में डालना है। ये मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है। बाकी आपका मैं पूरा बात अभी सुन लूंगा, आपको मैं अभी इसमें डिस्टर्ब नहीं करूंगा।
सर आपका पॉइंट वेल टेकन है। मैं यही चीज़ एक्सप्लेन करूंगा कि जब आरबीआई लाइसेंस देती है तो अलग अलग कैटेगरी की एनबीएफसीज होती हैं। हमारी वाली जो एनबीएफसी है वो इन्वेस्टमेंट एनबीएफसी नहीं है, लोन एनबीएफसी है। अगर हमारा पैसा यूटिलाइज नहीं होता है तब तक उसको एक लिमिटेड स्पेस में ही हम रख सकते हैं, ना कि हम 9% या 10% के किसी भी पेपर में हम लगा सकते हैं। उसके ऊपर आरबीआई के रेस्ट्रिक्शंस होते हैं, कुछ कंपनी की इंटरनल पॉलिसीज होती हैं, जिसको मद्देनज़र रखते हुए ही हम इन्वेस्टर का पैसा एक प्रॉपर एवेन्यू में लगाते हैं, ताकि जैसे भी हमारी यूटिलाइजेशन आए उस समय हम उस पैसे को वहाँ से निकाल करके प्रॉपर एवेन्यू में यूटिलाइज कर सकें। इनिशियल डेज में जब भी कोई एनबीएफसी बनती है या कोई भी नया बिजनेस होता है, मैं यही एक्सप्लेन कर पाऊंगा कि इनिशियल डेज में थोड़ी सी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी हो सकता है, इम्पैक्ट हो रही हो, बट अगर आप बिजनेस को लॉन्ग टर्म के व्यू पॉइंट से देखें और बिजनेस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से देखें तो ग्रोथ की अपॉर्चुनिटी जो एनबीएफसी सेक्टर में है वो इनॉर्मस है सर। ये जो बिजनेस है अगर इसको हड़बड़ी में किया जाए, सर बहुत लोगों ने अपने हाथ जला चुके हैं, मैं नाम नहीं ले पाऊंगा अभी कॉल पे, बट हमने देखा है कि कितनी एनबीएफसीज ने प्रॉब्लम फेस करी हैं। आप ये देखेंगे कि इस कंपनी ने पिछले 2-2.5 सालों में कोई भी इशू फेस नहीं किया है। करीबन लोन बुक जो इस कंपनी की हो गई है वो 1600 करोड़ हो गई है। आज के दिन कंपनी के साथ 20-22 लेंडर जुड़ गए हैं, 1000 करोड़ की बोरिंग हो गई है। कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट सर ड्यूरिंग टफ टाइम इतनी अच्छी ग्रो हुई है।
सर टफ टाइम तो नहीं बोल सकते, अगर आप बजाज फाइनेंस, आप दूसरी कंपनी का मैं भी नाम नहीं लेना चाहता, बट अभी मेरे मुंह से एक नाम निकल गया तो वो आपको भी मालूम होगा कि वो जब स्टार्ट हुई थी तब क्या थी और अभी क्या है। मुझे सिर्फ अभी इतना जानना है, जो हुआ उसको तो बदल नहीं सकते, वो जो होने वाला है उसके बारे में अगर आप थोड़ी सी जानकारी दे दो कि नेक्स्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट अपना एनबीएफसी का कहाँ होगा, कैसे काम चल रहा है, और यहाँ पे मेजर हमारे वेंडर कौन है, किसको लोन प्रोवाइड हो रहा है, और कैसा फ्यूचर मेकिंग प्रेडिक्शन कंपनी ने रखा है कि इन्वेस्टर्स को और कंपनीज को मैक्सिमम रिटर्न मिले। ऐसा आप अगर थोड़ा सा इन शॉर्ट अगर हमें सारे इन्वेस्टर्स को थोड़ा प्लानिंग समझा दो तो नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर का जो रिजल्ट आएगा तो उसमें आपका जो प्रेडिक्शन रहेगा, जो प्रोजेक्शन रहेगा, उसमें हम जान पाए कि आप लोगों ने कितना काम किया उसके ऊपर।
सर उसमें आपके 2-3 जो पॉइंट्स हैं मैं उसको जवाब देता हूँ। जो कंपनी लोन दे रही है 3 डिफरेंट सेगमेंट में दे रही है। एक कॉर्पोरेट का सेगमेंट है, दूसरा बिल्डर्स एलाइड एक्टिविटी का सेगमेंट है, और तीसरा जो रिटेल और एसएमई का सेगमेंट है। उसमें कुछ एक बोरोवर के मैं अगर आपको नाम बता पाऊँ सर, एक हम दे रहे हैं बिरला कैपिटल वगैरह वाली जो ग्रुप कंपनीज है उनको जाता है, हीरो सोलर एनर्जी है उनको जाता है, जिंदाल वाले ग्रुप है उनको जाता है, बाकी हीरो ग्रुप है उनको भी जाता है। उसके अलावा बहुत सारे अच्छे बिल्डर्स हैं सर हमारे साथ, और जो एसएमई एमएसएमई वाले जो है जिसको कि स्मॉल टिकट साइज का लोन होता है उसमें हम लोन अगेंस्ट प्रॉपर्टी।
तुम्ही ज्या व्यक्तीशी बोलत आहात त्याने तुमच्या कॉलला होल्डवर ठेवला आहे, कृपया लाईनवरच राहा।
हेलो,
सॉरी सर, प्लीज गो अहेड।
या सो उसमें हम सब लोन अगेंस्ट प्रॉपर्टी भी करते हैं, डिजिटल लेंडिंग भी करते हैं। तो बहुत वैरायटी ऑफ बकेट है। इन टर्म्स ऑफ अगर मैं फ्यूचर की आपको पिक्चर बता पाऊँ तो कंपनी एज फार एज हम कंसर्न है, कंपनी राइट ट्रैजेक्टरी में जा रही है इस मार्केट में, और जो लॉन्ग टर्म की ग्रोथ हमने एस्टिमेट करी है।
Amit,
yes,
I think there are other participants on the line, so operator, could you please see and
नो इश्यूज। मुझे एक सिर्फ शॉर्ट में मुझे सेटिस्फैक्टरी आंसर चाहिए था जो अमित दे रहे हैं। आई थिंक कि आप अगर डिस्टर्ब ना करो तो एक हाफ एन मिनट में हो जाएगा।
Please, after half a minute you can conclude. Yeah, go ahead.
या तो सर जो फ्यूचर की अपनी जो ट्रैजेक्टरी है वो एकदम राइट ट्रैजेक्टरी में कंपनी ग्रो हो रही है। गोइंग फॉरवर्ड ग्रैनुलर लोन बुक होगी, और इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी और रिटर्न जो आप बात कर रहे हैं काफ़ी हेल्दी रिटर्न एज कम्पेयर टू मार्केट आपको नेक्स्ट 1-2 साल में देखने मिलेंगे सर। मैं इतना ही बोल सकता हूँ कि ये थोड़ा सा पेशेंस वाला बिजनेस होता है सर। इस बिजनेस में अगर हमने हड़बड़ी कर दी तो फ्यूचर में प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है।
ओके, थैंक यू सर। नेक्स्ट मेरा क्वेश्चन सर देने वाले थे अबाउट किर्लोस्कर ऑयल।
Can move on to next question because there are many participants in the queue, and in the end, if time permits, we'll take the second question. Yeah.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question at this time may press star and one on your touchtone telephone. We have the next question from the line of Amit Shah from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. Sir, firstly, wanted to understand on the gross margins. We have seen some bit of a compression in this particular quarter. If I recall, during the last quarterly con call, you had mentioned that we have taken some price hike in the month of July and August, which will be passed on, and basically the margins will revert back to normalcy. So if you can just help us understand what has led to a sharp gross margin compression. I understand there has been a commodity price increase, significant commodity price increase. But if you can just help us understand when can we see normal gross margin returning back, and how much time it will take. If you can just help me understand that.
Thanks, Amit. This is Pawan Agrawal. Yes, you are right. There has been, as we have been informing on the earlier calls also, there has been steep increases in commodity input prices, and it has impacted various businesses within Kirloskar. As compared to last quarter, if you see the material margin is impacted by about 40 basis points, 45 basis points, not more than that. In different businesses within KOEL, we have power generation, industrial, customer support, agriculture, large engine, etc. So different businesses, different approach we have adopted. In largely, in quarter two, we have taken price increase again in some of the businesses, and the cost increase has been accommodated to a large extent. Still, you could see about half a percentage point impact in the current quarter. Going forward, looking at the markets, I think the commodity prices still continue to remain volatile, and it will take some time. As per our understanding and initial assessment, it is going to take some time before the margins go back to the earlier level. It is not going to happen very soon. So that is what our assessment is. It's very difficult to put a number to it at this point of time, looking at the external environment, but it is a difficult environment right now.
So do we have any threshold margin that we keep in mind, or do you feel that around the current levels of say 35% gross margin could stabilize at least in the near future, and then from next year onwards the price hike kicks in and basically gross margin starts improving?
See, Amit, whatever levels you are saying, this is Nimkar here. Whatever levels you are saying in this quarter, you can see this is bottomed out. It is only going to stay here or improve further on that side. What is happening actually last 2-3 quarters is we are playing a kind of a catch-up game, because commodities are continuously going up. In this last 6 months, 3 times in power generation we have pushed the prices up in the market, 2 times in industrial, 2 times in water management solution. 3 times in water management solution, but still it is catching up, because by the time you push it, implement it, you are seeing the commodities have further moved up. That is what has happened. But we are watching very carefully, and there is ultimate limit also how much we can push up on the front end side. So we have also initiated quite a few programs in each of the BUs to look at further cost cutting and very intense cost cutting programs. So we have initiated that. And if we get 1 quarter of where commodity stabilization, I'm not saying commodity decline, commodity stabilization, and in that quarter if we push the prices up by little percentage, that will be the quarter where you will see the upliftment starting. But I don't know whether it will happen in Q3 or it will happen in Q4. So that's where, but whatever you are seeing right now, by all our assessment, that the last you can see, it will be only better than this.
Sure, sir. And sir, one more thing I just wanted to understand. You mentioned that you have taken multiple price hikes. So at a broad portfolio level, what is the average price hike that we have taken YTD? And have we seen any impact on the volume because of the price hikes that we have taken?
Business to business, it is different. In water management solution, our overall price hikes may be in the range of 16 to 17%, and it is the highest one we have taken in last 9 months. And if you look at it, power generation side, maybe at least 6%. Industrial, maybe around similar, 6 or 7. But the commodity impact can also be very little different in different domains.
Sure. And sir, any volume impact we are seeing demand?
We had reached to a level where we had no time to think about volume impact. We said we are leader. There is a complete fire on the back end side of on the commodity market. We had to take this call, and as a leader, we took that call. We were anticipating there will be some hiccups happening, but fortunately, in almost every segment, power generation segment, the healthcare sector came very handy for us, and we continued to gain healthy order board and execution because of our prowess in supply chain management. So that helped us. In industrial domain, the BS4 momentum got caught up, and that helped us. In water management side, we had a good amount of stocks with us. So those stocks helped us to carry on the market. So in not even any segment we have lost any market share. In fact, some of the segments we must have gained only.
Sure, sir. This is really helpful. I'll get back in the queue for further questions, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is on the line of Bhagesh from HDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
So you just mentioned that you have not lost market share anywhere. But this one of the NNC peer did announce a large order for the data center segment. Is that a segment where NNC players have a natural advantage? And secondly, over a period of next 3 to 6 months, the electronics procurement strategy, and now what is the latest deadline for the CPCB now?
Okay. So the first question, you talked about the data center, and I think in the last call also I replied to one of the query. On the data center side, I do not know whether to call a word fortunately or unfortunately, but the market has been shifting continuously on the upward side. 3 years back, the data centers in India were consuming anyway 750 to 1,500 kind of a range, largely, and then some 2 megawatt and 2.5 megawatt kind of thing. If we look at last 18 months window, 2 megawatt plus requirement of data centers have sharply gone up. Of course, they do by 750,000, 1,500. We have entertained some of the data center inquiries or orders we have taken, we have installed that. But our share right now in data center domain is not that high at the moment because of the range limitation. But we are working out on that. And as Pawan was talking about in his opening remarks, very shortly we will be offering 1,250 and 1,500 to the market. So that is in the last stage of our final plans. So with that, our ability to address data center will be few shades better than what it is today. So that's the answer to the first thing. Second point, you talked about the CPCB 4 transition. As we are talking about, our latest estimation is 1st July 2023. That's what is our estimation is on. That will be the effective date. And happy to just share with you people that as an organization, we are fully geared up to handle this transition for all the models, whatever is required. Because of our very successful transition of BS4. So that work, what we have done on BS4, 70-75% of that work is coming extremely handy for us for CPCB 4 transition as well.
So you do not foresee any component shortage or any chip shortage or whatever?
That was your third query. Yes, the component shortage, you are tracking the market, and all of us are seeing what is happening in the global market. So semiconductors situation is impacting. But in fact, if we are looking at 1st July 2023, By all estimation right now, the market will be stabilized by that time. Semiconductor market globally will be stabilized. Right now, people's anticipation is next 3 quarters can be traumatic for the chip related markets, but I'm talking about almost 18 months from now. So by that time, it will be reasonably stable.
Okay, thanks a lot, sir. All the best. I'll come back.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Bhavin Mithlani from SBI Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. My first question is a clarification. The opening remarks, Pawan mentioned about a reorganization of Arka FinCap, and wherein Pawan mentioned 90% holding of AFHPL, but the presentation mentions the holding is 100%. Could you just help us understand the reorganization and the stakes, please?
Yeah, Amit, can you just take this up?
Yeah. Bhavan, just to explain the structure, we have got approval. I'll start that we have incorporated this Arka Financial Holdings Private Limited as a CIC for its financial services business. Currently, KOEL holds 90% direct, 90.2% directly, and 9.8% indirectly by way of investment through Arka Financial Holdings Private Limited. The money invested by KOEL into Arka Financial Holdings is also ultimately invested into Arka FinCap Limited. So KOEL ultimately holds the 100%, 90.2% directly, 9.8% indirectly. Going forward, what the Pawanji has said in the beginning of the call, that going forward the existing holding of shares of Arka FinCap Limited in the books of KOEL will be transferred to Arka Financial Holdings Private Limited, so that KOEL will ultimately hold 100% of Arka FinCap Limited through its subsidiary Arka Financial Holdings Private Limited.
Sure, that helps. The second question is, if you could help us understand what was the kind of tractor engines business, and with the reorganization of Swaraj Engines holding, what could be the impact on the total business?
No, can you just repeat the question, please?
So KOEL actually had a holding in Swaraj Engines, and there was a supply of engines for tractors to that entity. With that now stake having been sold, so how is that impact going to be on KOEL's financial?
Yeah, got the query. Just a clarification to you, KOEL never had a share with Swaraj. It was a different sister concern of Kirloskar Group called Kirloskar Industries. So that company had some stakes with Swaraj Engines, and that's their decision to sell or keep or whatever it is. So that's the independent decision of that organization, nothing to do with KOEL. That's the first clarity. Second, this year throughout we have been supplying good quantities to Swaraj, and Swaraj buying from KOEL is a strategic tie-up for them. It is a de-risking of some percentage of engines coming from a different place. So that works strategically for them, and we are pretty cost competitive and also extremely reliable supplier, and our trade pass with Swaraj is 99.8%. So that's the quality which we are giving. So this relationship will continue, and I do not see any linkages between the two.
Sure. And on the industrial engine side, X of the tractors, what could be the growth in the other segments, if you could help understand?
Oh yeah. On the industrial engine side, as Pawan also briefed in his opening remarks, that last 2 quarters we have been doing very well. Our BS4 transition has really moved, I will say, beyond our own expectations. So the products are stabilized. More than 1,500 machines, engines we have supplied into that domain, and those are moving through different OEMs to the market. So we have proven once again our prowess of giving extremely cost competitive and our OEM friendly solution, because when our OEMs have taken our solutions, they did not have to do any changes in the envelope size of their equipment. That was a big value addition we provided, and we managed all the emission norms within that boundary conditions, and our products are proven. So that gave us a good traction this quarter, and I hope this will continue this quarter and the next quarter also. Infrastructure demand is going on, so these products are very high in demand. Apart from that, the other earth moving equipment are also moving well. So overall demand on the industrial side right now I'm seeing is in a higher teens, and probably these both quarters may remain similar.
Sure, thanks. Lastly, just one request. I think on a consolidated basis, having an NBFC kind of clutters, and as we have a subsidiary on the industrial side, so if you could give up financials, P&L and balance sheet for the consolidated industrial business along with Lagajar, that will be very useful to understand the true value of the industrial business. That's it from my side.
Thanks, Bhavin, for your suggestion. We will look into it.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, if you have a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Sandeep, who's an investor. Please go ahead.
So my question is on the draft bill by Power Ministry which recently came up, like on the last day of this quarter. So will that have any impact on our diesel genset business? So will that have any material impact on that? And I had a couple of questions on maybe Arka FinCap. Maybe I will ask those after this is done.
Okay, so coming to your query on this draft communication or draft bill of Power Ministry, which was in circulation, and now nothing more has happened on that. We have approached this in multiple ways, but coming straight to your question, will it have a material impact? Perceptually, yes. Factually, on ground, close to nil. Because whatever is proposed in that bill, in all our wildest imagination of implementation of any one of those suggestions on ground, is practically impossible. Whether that renewable energy solution to be applied in some small houses here and there, or in 2 years complete transition or something, we felt it was too early or whatever, it's impractical thing. That's our opinion. We have put communication back to the ministry through our IDEMA body, so that is a common forum of a diesel engine manufacturers association. So that team collectively is representing to the Power Ministry as well as Environment Ministry as well as CPCB and ARAI, so whichever bodies are involved into that. So it is that way. But at this point in time, yes, perceptually it made some impact in terms of stirring the minds of some of the customers. But when they realize that it is not practical, so right now it stays at that level.
So like then if there is some news on it, will we get a disclosure, like, because that way will help, because we got to know through various sources, like, so if something impacts, like we would request to disclose it next years, because
So not clear what you are saying.
So
can you speak up, please? You are barely audible, Sandeep.
So what I'm trying to say is, please give proper disclosures whenever needed, because it seems that it has an impact. That was my point.
No, it is at draft level. It is at draft level. It has not become a bill, and we have the representative of industry has written a mail to them. And I sent a mail to them, sent a communication.
So what I've seen from the Kirloskar Group past is, like, we give from time to time basis disclosure, right? So even if we change our logo last month in last quarter, we had given a disclosure about the Kirloskar Limitless and those sort of things. So if this sort of bill is going to have material impact, it's better to give disclosure in hand, like that will help the shareholders. is what I'm trying to say.
No, agreed. Once we feel there will be a material impact, we will do the needful. Right now, our assessment says it will not have a material impact.
Okay. So coming back to the Arca FinCap question. So, sir, what is our average cost of capital, like, for the funds that we have taken? And so, like, every 100 crores of, say, disbursement in Arca FinCap, so what is the non-finance cost increase? So any numbers that we can put?
Sorry, I'm not able to get your question, Sandeep.
So for every 100 crores of increase in disbursement in Arca FinCap, so how much is the non-finance cash that it leads to? Other than the interest, like employee cost or any new building that will come up. So that.
See, I can give you a brief breakup that yes, we have been working on a 3.5% kind of a spread, and then we are maintaining a ROA of 1.9% on the total AUM.
यार बोर हो रहा है यार से.
Hello, operator, could you please keep your speaker's phone on a mute mode, please? Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. Answer what the first question, like average cost of capital, other than the funds that we have in.
Average cost of borrowed funding for Arca FinCap latest is coming in the range of 8 to 8.5%. Whatever marginally we are borrowing.
Okay, thank you.
Next question, please.
Yes. A reminder to the participants, anyone who has a question at this time, please press star and 1 on your phone. The next question is from the line of Amit Shah from Antique Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Just going back to the draft Ministry of Powers regulation which has come out, draft bill. I just wanted to understand, in case if the this particular bill gets passed of banning diesel genset over a period of 5 years, do we have any strategy to do a tie-up and provide an alternative of a battery back storage? Any thought process on that, sir? That will be helpful.
I mean, irrespective of the bill, our strategies are in place. Because we are a large organization and we have a separate wing with us which has to continuously think about what are the alternates available with customers and what can we do about it. So we'll be very happy to inform you, even if this bill gets passed tomorrow morning, we will have sufficient alternates available for our customers in terms of backup power. Whether it will be battery based or it will be renewable based or it will be gas based, multiple options are available with us.
And this will be all in-house technology, or sir, we have entered into a JV or a technology tie-up with a foreign partner?
No, we will have a combinations of things, because some of the technologies we have already developed on our own internally, and some of the things we are in discussions with people who have traveled some distance in that direction. So we do not want to reinvent that thing. So we will have necessary tie-ups, whether it is something in the back-end side or something in the front-end side.
Sure, sir. Sure. I'll get back in queue, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Goyal from Enam Holdings. Please go ahead.
Are you on mute?
The line got dropped, sir. A reminder to the participants, anyone who has a question, please press star 1. Mr. Manish Goyal, please go ahead with the question. Mr. Manish Goyal from Enam Holdings. So you're on the mute mode. We cannot hear you. There seems to be no response. As there are no further questions, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for their closing comments.
And thank you so much. These are difficult times, but KOEL, as it has been managing the last 1.5 years, we will continue to handle the situation graciously. And we once again thank you for taking interest in Kirloskar Oil Engine Limited. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, members of the management. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Antique Stock Broking, that concludes this conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.